Hey guys, if you're interested in charcoal drawing, I have some recommendations for the materials you can use to practice efficiently. The first one is a drawing board. This is a pretty standard drawing board that you could find on Amazon or any art store in your area. The main things to consider with the drawing board is you want a big one to accommodate your paper, and basically the surface needs to be smooth and hard, because if there's any texture on the drawing surface, it's going to show up in your piece of art. These ones that you can buy are relatively affordable, and they come with some clips on the top as well as a rubber band to hold your paper in place. There are some other options you might be able to find at the hardware store or Home Depot that might be a little bit cheaper, but because these boards are usually in the $20 range, I recommend just buying one. The paper is also very important. This is Strathmore Smooth Newsprint, and I find it's a very nice paper to draw on because, for one, it's cheap, so you don't have to feel bad if you screw up and need to start over, or if you're doing exercises. The other thing is, with a smooth texture, you can really pick up the mistakes or errant charcoal with an eraser, whereas with a rough surface, which is more common, that charcoal is going to dig in and you're not going to be able to redeem your whites. So I'd recommend starting with a Strathmore newsprint with a smooth texture, because that's going to make your life a lot easier. One thing to consider is that it's very heat sensitive. It's a very fragile paper, so if you leave it outside or in the sun, it's going to warp and it's going to really affect your line quality. So that would get expensive really quick if you don't take care of it. So, $15 for 50 sheets, and then don't leave it in the sun. The charcoal pencil I've been using the most is a Conte 1710B hardness pencil. I'll give you a little bit of a close-up here. This is Conte is a very famous charcoal brand, and they do a pretty good job. The B hardness is nice because you can get those dark shadows as well as some pretty light lines. You can have a full range of values with this one pencil. So you don't need to go out and buy like the HBs or this or that. You can just buy this one type of pencil. But I would recommend buying a few of them, because if you're sharpening it to a point like mine and you're also clumsy like I am, you're going to drop it a lot and the tip's going to break right off. So you want to have a few of these laying around, because you don't want to break your only pencil and then be stuck for the rest of the day without anything to draw with. So I buy these in packs of 20, and I've already gone through probably 5 or 6 of them. To sharpen it to a nice long point, there's two things you're going to need, and they're both very cheap. There's this type of razor here. This is a very standard razor, and it comes in packs of 100. You can find these anywhere. And basically, you can get about a week or two of sharpening out of each one, and I think the price ends up being around 20 cents per blade. And then once it starts catching or not cutting as well as it used to, wrap it up in a piece of tape or something, grab a new one. And here's a little sanding pad. I'm sure you've seen these. They come in a lot of drawing sets. Basically, you're going to get the point of your pencil like most of the way there with a razor, and then to tune it up and get that really nice round smooth bullet point, you're going to use a little bit of sandpaper. When you're done with the sandpaper, I would just recommend using a rag or something to clean the tip of the pencil so that you don't have any dust lingering, because if you're drawing with a dusty tip, then when you're rolling the pencil as you're making your lines, you're going to end up with a bunch of dust dumping out at some point. It's going to make a big mess. It's not the end of the world. It's just really easy to fix. Okay, and then when you're drawing on white paper, which is recommended by a lot of different artists, the paper is going to be the lightest value you're going to achieve. And to push things back towards the light, use a kneaded eraser. These are also very cheap. They're usually only a couple bucks and they last forever. So I'd recommend buying just a couple in case you lose one. But basically, they're usually wrapped in a very sticky tape or something like that when you buy them. You want to take it out of that and you want to knead it, and you rip it apart and put it back together to soften it up. And at that point, once you have it really worked in, it's going to get really soft, and you're going to be able to manipulate the edges to maybe bring in some highlights, or you can use the round end of it to just, lighten up an area. So that basically covers the basic materials, but before I let you go, I wanted to show you a couple other things I found that I like. And the first one is these soft blenders. These look like basically like palette knives, and then they come with these sponges. Sorry, it took me a while to figure that out. That slide over the end, and the set I'm going to link in the description has like 4 different point styles and extra sponges in case you use one up. I believe you can also clean the sponges and keep them going for a long time. But if you're doing a little bit of blending here and there, I feel like this is the best tool for the job because you have a lot of control with these points. I've used cotton balls and Q-tips in the past, but I found that very frustrating and they didn't work very well. I'd use these sponges. That's my recommendation. And then if you're going to use charcoal as a base for a painting, so like you want to do your drawing with a charcoal instead of just using a pencil, I found that this is a really fun way to start a painting. This is Fusion's liquid charcoal. Basically, it's a type of charcoal that comes out like a paint consistency, and you can water it down and use it with a paintbrush to, maybe work out your drawing or your values before you start using paint. I've only used it like 3 or 4 times so far, and I definitely haven't mastered it yet, but this could be fun as well. So that basically covers it. Charcoal drawing's a pretty cheap way to practice your drawing or your art, and the skill cap is very high. Like you can get really far just using the tools that I've showed you today. So I hope the information I provided you was helpful, and I hope you have a nice day. Thank you.